Hello, everybody. Excited utterance here. My name is Hella, and it's another Not a Murderer, Zachariah Anderson. It's what do you call it? Uh, Fight for Justice Day. Fight Against Injustice Day. An important day. And it is the second part of our stream. It's my contribution, in fact, Dali and my contribution to this cause. And as I said last week, this one's so important to me. I've been waiting a long time to create my very own stream about this. Lots of other creators have put forth their own take on this. They've streamed a trial, they streamed their own documentaries. There's been a podcast, a wonderful podcast. People have put forth their legal takes. There have been so many fundraisers. There's just been so much of people's time and effort and funds put forth into this case. This is my go. And yeah, as I said, I've been waiting a while because I feel like I've been wanting to see if there's a way that I could do something a little bit different and maybe bring some new eyes to this. And even in just the last week, there's been a few new people looking at it. So I'm feeling a little bit proud of that. And so this is part 2. And you'll see that I'm bringing something a little bit more to it this week. I've had a bit of a think about how this series can bring something new. And now let's bring in my co-host, Mr. Salvador Dali. Hello.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Okie dokie. Hello. How we have Stray here. How's it going, Stray? Good to see you. And Mr. Tragic. Good to see you. We say hello to Stray. Hello, Stray. Myra M is here. And who else we got? Oh, Laura's here. Hi, Laura. It's good for you to catch a live. Awesome. You're down in Tassie, which is the little forgotten island at the bottom of Australia.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Sometimes it gets
Terrifying.
forgotten. Yeah. And we have Donna Barkley. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here and grateful to be gifted a membership. Oh, you got gifted a membership. I don't know who gifted you a membership. It must have happened when you were not in chat, unless it happened. No, it couldn't have happened just now. Well, congratulations on that. And make sure you head over to the membership tab and have a look at the perks section because you are welcome onto our Discord. So have a little bit of a look at that. Okay, let's get going. We have a new way today of looking at our story. And I would just like to thank a few people, especially Mr. Wilhammer Media, who's often on our panel here. He joins us for Nick Godejohn Day. It used to be Gypsy Rose Day, but we've changed it to Nick Godejohn Day, and that's on Tuesday nights at 6:30 p.m. And he is a wonderful audio engineer or audio pleasurer, as we like to call him. And he has provided all of the trial. You can subscribe to Wilhammer Media, and we're going to be using some of his footage today later on. You can watch all of the trial. If you have a look at his playlist, you can see all of the trial. Let me just have a look, see if I can find that link. Nobody murder trial, there it is. You can watch the entire trial with no breaks, no nothing. You can even just pop it into your ears. Nobody murder trial. Wisconsin versus Zachariah Anderson on Wilhammer Media. There it is right there. Okay, and the other person I'd really like to send a shout out to is Miss Josie, who is the voice behind the Wrongful podcast. And having a look at that, having a good listen to that has really helped me in order to create what you're going to see today. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of other people who I have neglected to mention helped with that as well. So hi everybody. Hey Christine, how are you today? Good to see you. All right, let's get moving. So, last week we spoke about, yes, shout out to Josie. Yeah, she does wonderful work. Okay, last week we spoke about the charges against Mr. Zachariah Anderson. And the charges were 2 counts of stalking against Miss Sadie Beecham there on the right, which is his ex-girlfriend, and Rosalio Gutierrez, which was the man that she started dating only maybe about two or so months earlier. No alert for this video. Oh, did someone pop an alert over in the
No, it
MLS
popped up.
Discord?
No, I just did. I did.
Oh, David. Hello, David. How are
I think I
you?
did.
Good to see you. um, I'm pretty sure there was an alert. I got an alert. Yeah. Maybe you just don't have your notifications on, David.
Yeah, I did at 4:26 p.m., sweetie.
You're calling David sweetie. Dear me. And first-degree intentional homicide and hiding a corpse. All right, so first-degree intentional homicide of Mr. Rosalio Gutierrez and hiding a corpse. Now, remember, importantly, that at the time of trial, his body had never even been found and still has never even been found, which is really kind of disconcerting considering that how can you hide a corpse if a corpse has never been found? Also, intentional homicide, how can you prove intentional homicide, again, with no body? Forensically, that's really tricky, I would think. True?
I mean, there's a
Yeah.
reason these cases are so difficult to prosecute.
Yeah, they're very difficult to
And
prosecute.
prosecutors really get their jollies off successfully prosecuting these cases. Yeah, it's a huge notch in their belt. They're proud they get to, win it.
They're proud. Yeah, yes. Okay. So there is that side of it. And it's why we also consider this to be quite an injustice. I mean, not just because we believe that Mr. Zachariah Anderson, I believe he's actually innocent. There are people who, and it's absolutely fine to simply believe that he just didn't get a fair trial. And that's completely fair to not.
I mean, David from Making Law Simple said that.
Exactly. Mr. David here, just he doesn't know, or even as far as he's concerned, he says it doesn't matter whether or not he's innocent or guilty. He just didn't receive a fair trial. And there is a thing called the Sixth Amendment in your country, I believe, which says that you are entitled to a fair trial no matter what. It is your right.
It lays out like the procedures or the rights you have if accused of a crime.
Yes.
And many of those were grossly violated, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's move on and get to the new stuff for today. So let's go back and talk about Zach and Sadie, because this is where this all began. All right, so they look like just a regular couple, don't they? And this is why. I mean, I want everybody to really relate to this situation, because this could happen to anybody, right? Everyone should be worried about this, because anyone could end up in a situation like this. Anyone could end up in prison for something they did not do. Because if you look back at how this all began, it all began with a situation that many people can identify with. Now, they were just a regular couple and they were dating and they were in a long-term relationship. Look at them. They look pretty normal and pretty happy. Okay, so Zach and Sadie, they were together for about 13 years. Okay, they were together for about 13 years, and look, they look pretty happy. They started a family together. They built a family together, guys. Right? Remember those My Family stickers?
Yes. So
Yeah.
Zach, yes. So Zach knows where babies come from.
Yeah. Zach does know where babies come from.
Okay, I'll write him a letter and find out. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you write him a letter and find out.
I'll ask him
Well,
where babies come from.
you do that.
He somehow got 3 of them. Where?
Yeah, he got 3 of them. Yep.
What's the secret,
Okay.
Derek?
That's right. Now, I'm not a huge fan of those my family stickers, right? But it reminded me of that because I was like, okay, so how can I tell this story? And I don't want to show the kids' faces, and I don't like the photos that have like their faces blacked out. But I'd rather show this story in a cuter way.
Yeah.
And I looked at some different ways, and I thought, okay, I can do this in a nicer way. And so I looked at these little stick figures and things like that, and I remembered these my family stickers, and I thought that
She's looking
yeah,
at
they
the
were
stream with me like this too. She doesn't want to see my face.
well, yeah, there's that. I'm not thinking about in my family with you though.
Oh,
Um,
no.
okay, that's cute. Hello, that's good. I'm glad you like it because you're about to see much more of it. Half Irish. You're about to see a lot more of it. Okay. All right. So there they are, and like in better times, they might have had something like that on the back of the car. I'm imagining they might have had something like that on the back of the car. Maybe I don't know. All righty. So there we go. So Zach and Sadie had a daughter and twin sons. And like Zach, he loves his kids. Right? I'm sure they both do. I'm sure they just adore their kids.
Yeah, I
Right?
mean,
Who
that's
doesn't? Who
common
doesn't?
in these situations.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now there's their faces. I can have their faces. And I'm not making bobbleheads, guys. So those who know me, I do like to make bobbleheads. And these I'm not doing the bobblehead thing for this one. All right. There's my family bodies, but there's no bobbleheads. Okay. So I'm stopping it there with the bobbleheads. No bobbleheads. All right. So there were plenty of happy times though. Okay. So there were plenty of happy times. Remember, like 13 years. Like, who would stay together for 13 years and not be happy times? There's plenty of photos of them smiling and all that kind of thing.
Just ask
Alrighty. Okay. Now, through those years, Zach worked hard to build enough money to support his family. And he took a job with AT&T. Now, that's the AT&T logo, right? I looked
Yeah.
it up. That little guy there. Yeah, and I've got him in a little polo shirt. Right, so he's there he is. He's working for AT&T. And now hang on, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. The job meant that he
I
was
don't
out
like
on the
how
road
he
a lot.
speeds.
No, he's not speeding.
He's speeding a little bit.
He's
He's
not
going 45 and a
speeding.
35. Yeah. Got a little lead foot.
Yeah, he's not. So okay, so
Guilty.
this is the thing. He had to go out on the road a lot, right? So when he was out on the road a lot, remember how I said last week that he was like a technician, like he had to like fix things. That was his training. So guys, help me out in chat if you know a bit more about what he was doing in his job at AT&T. But he would go out and I think it was like a comtech or communications technician, like he would like go and fix things on site. So he would have to go out on these like traveling kind of stay out of Dakota or stay in Dakota. I know there was at least one trip to Dakota. But he would go out and fix things. I know that. So there was a lot of like working with his hands and stuff. I know this because there was an injury. But when he was out there on the road, he stayed in contact with his family via Skype. What's that mean, Donna Barkley? Under 9, you're fine. Over 9, you're mine.
I don't know.
Don't know what that means. Okay. So yeah, he stayed in contact with his family via Skype and he worked hard. So, I mean, was like a lot of talk in the trial and things about Zach sort of like he was kind of painted as this guy who didn't keep in touch and was sort of not around and that sort of thing. And like the thing about Zach is he worked really, really hard. Like he was a super duper hard worker. And he had to be away a bit for the various jobs that he did over the years. And when the thing about that is though, like he absolutely adored his children. There's no question about that. So, but that said, like the relationship with Sadie, it was off and on. That's true. There's no question about that either. So, but yeah, he stayed in contact with his family via Skype. Okay, so that happened. There he is. Hey. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Have you seen my mom?
Sorry. Have you seen my mom? All right, now. I don't know how great this drawing is. It was while working for AT&T that Zach injured his back. Now, this will become an ongoing problem for him. All right. And this is important. This is going to come up later. All right. So he hurt his back doing some of this labor kind of work, fixing things and stuff whilst he was working for AT&T, and it wouldn't go away. Like anyone who's had a back problem, they can be really persistent. And like I know that like with back problems, people sort of make out like it's, oh yeah, everyone has back problems. Oh yeah, you've got a back problem.
It's very different for people. Or like every person, it can be very different for.
Yeah. So I don't know the full nature of Zach's back problem, but I know that it was persistent and that it plagued him ongoing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the reason he left AT&T, but yeah, he did continue doing like physical work, but it just like he had to, like that was his thing. But yeah, he ended up having problems. You have chronic back pain, Myra? Your chronic back pain, you understand Zach's. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about speed limits? Speed limits. If you're speeding less than 9 miles per hour, they let it go. Oh, right.
I honestly thought it was 10. I like go 75 and a 65.
Right. Okay, cool.
Okay, I'll go 74 from now on. Thank you, Donna.
By the way, guys, if there's anyone watching and you have questions, and you can actually, there's people in chat who know about this case and can answer questions. So as we go along and we get a little bit more into some of the things that come up in trial, or if you did watch the trial, or if you have your own beliefs about what happened, don't be shy. You can ask questions and there are people who can answer them. So come along and just come straight out there, and you won't be judged. It won't be, this is not a situation where we'll be like, no, well, he didn't do it and this is why, la la la. Come out and just say, and there are people here who can answer and help. Okay, so we're very friendly and we don't bite. Okay, let's go. So when Zach left AT&T, he was able to return home to Wisconsin. And there he is, back with his family again. And there we go. There's Solomon.
Aw. Is he wearing a muumuu?
No, they're my family bodies. Okay.
Oh, okay. It just looked like a muumuu.
It's not a muumuu.
Okay. It's okay if Solomon's a muumuu.
Give me a break. I just needed to make it all look consistent. That's all. So no offense to Solomon or anybody. So he went to work as a contractor with his brother Solomon at his construction business. So there's Sol, and there's Zach. Cool. Alrighty, and Zach saved up enough money to buy his own house in Mequon, Wisconsin, and he was proud, as you would be when you buy your first house. Yeah, so he bought this house, right? And when he bought the house, I tell you what, like the house, like he was happy with it, but it had some problems, right? So
Wish it didn't have a burn pit.
Yeah, there was a burn pit out the back. We'll talk about the burn pit in a minute, but yeah, that was an issue. So the house needed some work. Why does Zach have a hanging tummy? Mads, did you just come along? Did you just turn up?
Yeah, first Solomon has a moo-moo, now Zach has a hanging tum-tum. It's just like, good Lord.
Why don't you see the rest of the people? They look good.
I'm just teasing, Helen. You did great.
I'm trying, all right?
You are.
Okay. So the house needed work, but Zach planned the work out in priority to live frugally and ensure he could continue to support his family. Now, this is all really important because it became an issue later, right? So let's have a little bit of a stop and chat about this for a minute. Yes, it was a fixer-upper. Okay. Half Irish. Yeah, a fixer-upper. So, yeah, and whose house doesn't need something? Correct.
It fixed it up for the state of Wisconsin, apparently.
Okay, so he bought this house, and it actually there was a fire hazard. There was electrical issues. Okay, so in order to fix the electrical issues, the house needed to be gutted. And so him and Solomon had been talking about it. Him and his brothers, because him and his brothers, they're all close. And his brother, like we just spoke about a minute ago, Solomon, he had a construction company. And so they all like good at working with their hands and things like that. And so they decided to gut the house. What's funny?
Working with their hands. They're good
at
you are jobs.
Such a child.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
You.
I'm just saying they're good. They do jobs with their hands.
You do.
Yeah.
Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Okay.
Jazz hands.
Jazz. All right.
Jazz
so,
hands.
Yep. So my co-host is 12.
I'm gonna be 13 in a month. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so back to this. So the house needed work, and like the most important thing about the house needing work was obviously the fire hazard, and that was like the electricals needing to be fixed. So Zach was like, okay, fix that. So pull out the do you guys call it drywall? The we call it gyprock, I think, like the walls, right? The pretty part.
We call it drywall.
You call it drywall, okay?
Yeah, it's not wet wall.
Okay, so pull all that stuff out, right? And that made it look really ugly. Okay, so it made it look like the house was just like barely livable. Okay, but he needed to do that to make it safe. Correct?
Yeah. For electrical work, yeah.
I wish that Josie here.
No.
I wish that Josie was here to make sure that I was getting my facts
right. You need a Josie bat signal.
Yeah.
I think she's only 30 minutes for me. I can go find her. I'm kidding.
Josie or Jen or someone like that was just here to make sure I had my facts right. But if anyone could just bat signal them, that would be fantastic, because I don't want to get this wrong. But I'm pretty sure I've heard Solomon tell the story many times. Yeah, so the gypsum walls. Yeah, we call them gyprock. Maybe that's just a brand name. Yes, he took it out to rewire. Thank you. Yes, so
thank you,
I remember it correctly. And thank you. Yeah, I know. And Alicia, I've listened to it several times. But you know, when you're telling it again, you want to make sure you get it completely right.
Yeah.
That's all. So anyway, so he pulled out the drywall and did the electricals, but left the drywall out. And the reason he left the drywall out was because he had other priorities with his money, looking after his children, for one thing.
Guilty.
But he also, yeah, guilty. But he also invested in some other properties because he thought, you know what, the return on investment on this property isn't so great right now. He was looking at investing in other properties. And he did. He invested in some other properties which made more money. And he built up some funds that way. So he was smart that way. And he did. He made more money investing in some rental properties. And he and his brothers were actually, at the time when he was arrested, ready to invest in something else. And that was why there was some cash in the house, which looked really bad.
Oh, was that what? Okay, I never knew what the cash was for. Okay,
Yeah.
so that was because he was going to invest in another property.
He was about to go and put some money onto a property. Yep. Set out the Josie bat signal, and Alicia appears. Yep. And Lokong also can correct me if I get anything wrong too. But yeah, the money was actually for an investment as well.
And let me just say, I make a lot of jokes. I don't take things really seriously, but this, so I might seem flippant, but no, this really bothers me in a lot of ways. So while I kind of use humor to cope is all. It's just
we all do, and I've got funny photo pictures up as well, and I'm doing this to make this sort of more pleasant and easy to understand as well. So when one goes to an auction for houses, you need cash. Yes, half Irish. Yes, right. So
gotta make it rain.
Sorry.
Gotta make it rain. You don't know that expression?
No.
Okay, never mind.
I'll make it rain.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Right.
I was kidding.
So yes, this is very important. So these things were all used against him at trial. So the fact that his house looked unkept, so it looked like that he was living in squalor, right? And it wasn't a place that was fit for children to be. That was how it was portrayed, right? The fact that he had a large sum of cash in his house, right? These things were used to make him look terrible at trial, right? But there was a really good reasons for these things. Okay, so he was someone who was investing in property, and he had a reason for his house to look this way. He had gutted it to fix an electrical hazard, and he had decided to invest in other properties because he felt that this property wasn't worth fixing right now when he could be investing in other things. That's just the way he thought. Some people would say, why didn't he just testify and say all that stuff? Yeah. Now, I mean, those of us who follow trials and talk to lawyers on a regular basis would understand that when you go to trial, testifying isn't always the best option, especially when you think that you're being innocent. It's very, very unlikely that the jury is going to convict you, but anything can happen. All right, moving on. We were also in a pandemic. Having cash was smart. That's another really good point, Lokong Express. Thank you for that. It was a pandemic. We forget this, don't we? Because it's years ago now. We forget what pandemic life was like. That's right. Things were really different then. Thank you. But they said, also Zach had some illegal dealings, so there might be two different plausible explanations for those money. Yeah, no, Zach was no angel, right? There was some, what do you call it?
Marijuana?
There was some marijuana. Yep. There was some marijuana.
It's 2024. Okay. Whoop-de-doo.
Well, that was 2020. Now, having some marijuana in the house, does that make you, A, even a stalker, but does it make you a murderer?
Well, have you heard what they said about people who did marijuana in the 1960s?
What?
Those, sorry, no, just those ads. Like,
Okay. No. So if you're going to finish, it's going to start a thought. Can you finish it? I don't know what you're talking about.
okay, like, okay. So they used to have these ads in the 1960s about like marijuana being the devil's lettuce, and like if you did it, you were evil and murderer and all this stuff. So I was just making fun of that.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. So that's where devil's lettuce comes from.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. Sweet. All right. Moving on. So this screen here is important because it sets up something that it actually really became sort of character evidence against Zach. Character evidence is really important. It taints the jury's mind, and I like the word taint.
I own taint.net.
Taint.net.
Well, I did. I don't know. I think it lapsed, but yeah.
Yep. Okay. Let's just make sure this is right. So, but while things seem to be coming together for Zach, his relationship with Sadie had hit a rough patch. Okay. So he was doing really well. Like he was investing in properties, and he had his own house and all that kind of thing. But then, yeah, things weren't going so well with Sadie, unfortunately. Yeah, it just wasn't working out. Yeah, all right. Now, on Christmas Eve 2019, an argument over parenting would lead to a police report. Now, guys, here's the deal. Who doesn't know a couple, or maybe you've been through it yourself, who have been through a dispute over custody? I think we've all seen it.
Helen and I have had a dispute over Vealhammer. We've had a rough patch. We weren't sure who was going to have Veal on certain streams. And today Veal just wanted to do his own thing. It didn't want to be with either of us. And it kind of hurt both of our feelings, but we're adults and we just have to understand.
I'm serving you with some papers.
Oh, God. No, Veal had work issues, so he couldn't be
if you're watching.
Yeah, we love you, and we're kidding.
If you're watching, don't listen to him.
God damn it, she's trying to undermine me.
Yep. So,
I love you, Veal.
So much drama. Okay. What's this half Irish? Interesting how we didn't even blink an eye about this is about marijuana plants. But I think Sol said the community still looks down on marijuana. Right.
On the marijuana.
Marijuana. It's interesting, isn't it? There's so many like points of view on this. Like, yeah, some people, like a lot of people, actually still think it's a big deal.
I won't even take gummies and CBD oil. It's for the devil.
The devil. Yeah, and then there's a whole other part of the community like us, so we're just like, so what? Really? Really? That worries you? Okay. All right. Anyway, so moving on. So this thing happened, and things are starting to get out of control, but they're not out of control. So, like weirdly, there's this argument that happens, and the police is called. And when I say out of control, but not out of control, like a blow up like this occurs, but then they're hanging out again, and I'll show you that in a second, right? So, Christmas Eve 2019, argument over parenting would lead to a police report. So there's a Christmas tree there, and then it's not a marijuana plant. It's
a marijuana Christmas tree.
It's kind of ironic that I have a Christmas tree there because Zach's family actually have a Christmas tree farm.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, the incident allegedly involved some crosswords from Zach and a broom from Sadie. Yeah. Apparently. hello, Mildred. How are you? Hope you're doing well too. It's great to see you. Kenosha residents voted for legalization. Ah, there you go. Yes.
I knew Mark Jensen was guilty.
Yeah. So, okay, look, stuff happened that night, but I'm just going to break it right down to this. Okay. So, and there's more to this. And I don't want to talk about all of the allegations and things because there's some things that like involve another party and involve one of the kids, and I just it's all a bit nasty, and I don't it's in the past, and I don't want to go there, right? But when it comes down to it, yeah, some crosswords from Zach and a potential broom from Sadie, but in the end, all that came of it was this. The DA's office did not prosecute the incident because there was no sign of physical confrontation between the two parties, as far as they were concerned. Right? And Sadie did not file for a restraining order. No. She did not file for a restraining order. Okay. So, I mean, this incident went past, and basically, even though like some things were alluded to later on social media about there being something more that came out of this event, but as far as reports and things are concerned, no, there wasn't any, right? So no restraining order, and no, they didn't. The DA did not prosecute because there was no sign of physical confrontation. So that's it. That's it. Right, done. Okay. So time went by, and they each had started dating. They started dating, guys. So Zach met Christine. Hey, Christine. Hello.
Aww.
Oh, and they would hang out and watch movies.
Hulu, the old Hulu and chill.
Hulu and chill. You think she told Anne she did a restraining order? Yeah. Well,
Anyways, yeah.
I believe that there's, yeah, the information I have is that there was no restraining order, but yeah. Anyway, there might have been a 72-hour no contact order, but not a restraining order.
Yeah, I could see that being mistaken.
Yeah. And yep, so they would watch movies. And Sadie met Rosario Gutierrez on Facebook dating. Their text messages and her testimony at trial indicated she believed it was fairly serious. There he is. And I've got him a little bit bigger in size than everybody else. Reason being, he's 6 foot and 260 pounds. Good looking guy. He's nice. And she met him on Facebook dating. No disrespect to him, the poor man seems to be no longer around, and he has children also. So we hope one day to find the person who was actually responsible for his disappearance. Okay, that happened. All the while, Sadie and Zach by no means kept apart completely. Now that's important too, right? Because
it is.
Because there were allegations, quite a lot of allegations, that that he was stalking her. In fact, he was convicted of stalking her. Yet they were chatting.
Yeah.
There was plenty of evidence at trial that she was allowing him to come to the house, that she would text him, that she called him Z-Bear, She allowed him, invited him, in fact, for dinner, all sorts of things. So they were hanging out still. Like, it was not. I don't believe that they were like still in a relationship or anything like that, but it wasn't like they were like like that. You love the flip phone. I think he liked flip phones. Like, from memory, I think that Zach liked flip phones. So yeah, yeah. Oh, you're not saying she was telling the truth? Oh, about the restraining order? Yeah, no. Yeah. So, but they by no means kept apart completely at all. Yeah. So now this is also important. So Zach would come by Sadie's house often. He was welcome to come by and do his laundry, as he didn't have a washer and dryer in his house at the time. Like my little washer, and it's going, and there's a little ducky in there. See? And Zach has his washing. Now, remember, he has his own house. His house is not in the greatest state of repair, but he has his own house. But for some reason, he doesn't have his own washer and dryer. I don't know why. He just doesn't, right? But he has a good enough relationship with Sadie to be allowed to come and do his washing and drying over there, which means he must be going over there at least once a week, something like that. And by the way, he really loves Walmart clothes. I don't know why, but he just does. He likes the white t-shirts and blue jeans and things from Walmart. I don't have Walmart here. I don't know what Walmart clothes are like. I assume they're decent quality, but he has a lot of Walmart clothes. So that's kind of important too. It'll come up in future episodes. So there he is, and he is going to Sadie's house to do some washing. You don't think he liked Walmart clothes? I just think Zach liked to save money. Yeah. I'm not going to call Zach any names, but he's one of those people who likes to save money. I'll say it in a nice way. The simple clothes. He's a simple man of simple means. Simple means. Some people can pull off clothes from simple stores and look good. Zach never looked bad, so let's just say that's fine. Hey, like, we have Kmart here, and I wear Kmart clothes. I don't mind wearing Kmart clothes. You get half yours from Goodwill. Oh, look, like, op shop clothes are cool. If you're good at like finding good ones, then why not? All right, so moving on. So now, it was February of 2020 when the former couple tried again to set up a proper visitation schedule. So, like, they were talking and stuff, but I mean, obviously, they weren't on the best of terms. But they tried to set up a proper visitation schedule for the kids, right? But Levi's are not cheap. Yeah, you're right. Levi's are not cheap. Okay, and so they tried to do that, talking on the phone and things like that. And then what happened was, in March, another incident caused friction. And this is one that we'll explore in a little bit more detail. Oh, he's got his car out again. Hey! So Zach was working a job that kept odd hours, and one night he needed to do some laundry on the way back from a job interstate. And I think that was the one in South Dakota, Locom. Yeah, so he is on his way back. Now he went to Sadie's house to use the washer and dryer. Boom, 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 boom. Like, hey, I've got some dirty clothes. I need to go back there. And look, I don't know, like, what hours he generally keeps, but this was like kind of middle of the night, early morning. Might have been about 3:30, 3:45, something like that in the morning. Why are the wheels spinning backwards, Mads? Because I'm an Australian.
I said it first.
Did you?
Yes,
You did not.
I did too. I typed that out like 3 seconds ago.
Did you? She's in
Yes.
We drive in reverse.
Exactly. Everything you do, even your toilet's flushed that way.
Everything goes forward. You go backwards.
You're backwards.
Okay.
We're having a domestic squabble. If you go into our Discord, you can see a video I posted about an hour
Look,
ago
I get
of our
Wilhelm.
fights. Okay. Sure,
Anyway.
princess. He gets all the cotton candy he wants. Just saying.
Nobody's going to get a Frosty. All right. So we went to Sadie's house to use the washer and dryer. And then what happened? Oh, this. Do you like it?
I do.
I was kind of pleased with this. I was kind of pleased with this graphic. He was shocked to find Sadie's best friend Rebecca asleep on the couch. Yeah, so that's Rebecca Jekyll. And he went in and he found this woman asleep on the couch, and that's her waking up like, ah! And yeah, let's just say the feeling was mutual. Yeah. So neither of them were that happy to see one another. In Sadie's house at 4 a.m. or quarter to 4 a.m. on Sadie's couch. Yeah, Rebecca Jekyll, Mads. Yes, another Becky. Yeah. Do you think it was weird Becky was house sitting but wasn't sleeping in the bed? Maybe.
Me,
I don't know.
I would not want them in my bed. Nobody goes in my bed. Unless it's a lady of the night. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I don't want anybody in my bed. Unless it's a girl I'm dating. But regardless, you're sleeping on the couch. But for the normal person, I'm weird, so it is weird to me.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just talk about Rebecca Jekyll for a minute. So Rebecca Jekyll is
Do we ever text?
She's Sadie's best friend for 30 years. And she was staying in the house because Sadie had asked her to look after the children while she was away. And let's see, actually, no, let's just move on to the next one. Yeah, Sadie had gone on holiday to Mexico for a week. There she is. She was in Mexico for a week. Rebecca was staying at her house looking after the kids, but she'd not told Zach. So she hadn't actually said anything to Zach about her trip to Mexico. And instead, she had gotten Rebecca to look after the children. Okay, so there was a big miscommunication there also, I think. Well, I don't know if it was a miscommunication or whether it was purposeful to not, well, you guys decide. You guys make your mind up as to whether or not she should have told the father of the children that she was leaving the country for a week, and leaving the children with her friend. Yeah. No, half Irish. She was with friends.
Yeah, but she was in Mexico, though.
Yeah, she was with friends. Yeah.
Mexico. Yeah. She crossed the border. She crossed country lines.
Yeah, yeah. And Also, there was her parents as well who were partially looking after the kids as well, I think, from memory. But regardless,
well,
Zach
you can
Zach
pop
didn't
in,
know. Yeah,
pop
Zach
in,
didn't know.
take a gander when you got some, kids.
Yeah. Anyway, yep. Okay, so when Zach appeared in that at that couch during the night,
Sadie
Rebecca
was having a siesta.
yeah, Rebecca called Sadie, and Sadie called 911 to report Zach as trespassing. So she called Sadie, who was in Mexico, and then Sadie decided to call 911 and report Zach as trespassing. Okay, so even though Zach was allowed in the house to do his washing, she called the cops and said he was trespassing. So this is all very strange, right? And this was absolutely brought up at trial. Okay. Police officers attending the premises at approximately 4:40 a.m. found Zach preparing breakfast for his kids. So there he is with a fry pan. And so basically, like he went upstairs and he found his kids, and they kind of woke up, and he's like, okay, well, I suppose I'll make you breakfast, and made him breakfast, and that was that. They were all pretty calm, I think. Don't know, but that was it. And there was no arrest made and no citation. Again, nothing. Yeah. Now, let's meet Rebecca Jekyll, and this is her testimony about this on direct. So it's only a little bit of testimony. I'm just going to show you about 4 minutes, and it's only about this. She testified for quite a while about a lot of things, but just about this.
Now, fast forward a short while. Did you become aware of Miss Beecham planning a vacation?
Yes, I did.
And what was the nature of that vacation that you were aware of?
She had let me know that other friends of hers had been looking at going on a trip down to Mexico, and that she had the opportunity to go, and that she was thinking about going.
And what month would that have been in, if you can recall?
The trip was at the beginning of March 2020.
And what, if any, role were you going to be playing in her ability to go on this trip in March of 2020?
She had asked me if I would be able to possibly help out with the kids for a couple of nights while she was gone.
And what was the plan concerning you watching the children?
Well, they were in daycare at the time. I think the boys were, and I think their daughter, it was COVID, so I don't know where they were during the day, but I was at work. And then I would be there for the kids in the evening for dinner, bedtime, and then get them off to where they needed to be in the morning before I went to work. And it was a Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday I was going to have the kids go with her stepmom and dad.
And what was the plan, to your knowledge, of whether or not the defendant was supposed to be present for any of that?
He was not going to be. He was actually out of state, was my understanding.
So I'm going to direct your attention to the early morning hours of March 5th of 2020. Do you recall something that caused you concern on that morning?
Yeah.
And what was that?
I had fallen asleep in the living room on the couch, and when I had woke up, the lights were off. I think the TV was in sleep mode, and I saw a dark figure at the end of the couch.
Watch her facial expressions now.
Watch
the way she's
or made
acting.
a sound or whatnot, but where my feet were, there was.
Judge, I'm going to object on the grounds of relevance and other acts. And if this needs to be argued further, I'd like it to be outside the presence of the jury.
Well, I'm gonna, at this point, overrule the objection. Go ahead.
So what happened when you saw the figure at the end of the couch?
Like I said, I don't know if I moved or made a sound, but the lights went on, and the defendant was standing at the end of the couch, just smiling at me and said, "Hey there." And I didn't really even know what to say. And so then he said, where the fuck are my kids and their whore mother? And he went upstairs and woke up the kids.
And do you recall roughly what time of morning this was?
It was about 3:45 in the morning.
And where were you staying that night that the defendant was in the living room?
In Sadie's home.
And to your knowledge, did the defendant live there?
No, he did not.
To your knowledge, was he supposed to be there?
No.
Zach's so confused right now.
Yeah. Did you like the look of like terror when she saw the dark figure?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Ronnie, how's it going? She didn't know where they were during the day. Yeah, she acted a bit confused about where the kids were going during the day, didn't she? It's like who was actually taking responsibility for the kids completely? Like who was really in control of where the kids were going?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, so that was testimony on direct. So the state was asking her the questions, and she is the state's witness, right? So here's just a tiny bit of the defense asking her questions. So on cross.
Going back to when you were watching the kids, when Miss Beecham was in Mexico, had you been made aware that Mr. Anderson would be coming to the residence to do laundry?
No, I was not.
Okay. And was there some sort of protective order that you were aware of that Mr. Anderson could not see his children?
No.
No. Right. So, okay. So she's just saying she didn't know that he couldn't come there, and she didn't know that he was allowed to do laundry, and she didn't know of any protective order. Okay. So this woman is supposedly Sadie's best friend of 30 years. And she's supposedly like been allowed to come to the house to look after the children, and she doesn't know any of this stuff, and she's also unaware of the father being well, she knows of no reason why he can't see the children, right? So therefore the father turns up. She's known the Sadie for 30 years. She knows who the father is, right? Like he's not a stranger to her, correct?
Yeah.
It's like when she saw him, she would have known that was, oh, it's Zach, right? Like, so therefore, why would she have been in a panic when she saw the father and the kids there? Like, maybe she would have been like, oh, how come you're here? Is everything okay? You know, oh, I'm here to do laundry. Oh, okay, do you do laundry here? That would be more the kind of conversation you would think she'd have with him. Do you do
Yeah.
your laundry here? Oh, okay, I didn't know you did your laundry here. It's middle of the night. Oh, yeah, I was coming from interstate. I'm doing a job. Oh, okay. You would think that would be more the conversation. No, I'm calling Sadie. Ah!
Yeah.
It's very strange. The whole
Very.
thing's very, very strange. Very strange indeed, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like it sounds like where it's Bronze said something. It sounds like a setup. It sounds like a setup, but that's to us because we have watched the whole thing, and it sounds like a setup because we've gone back through it. But when you're the jury and you're only hearing this piece, it sounds like Zach is some crazy person, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, and that's what it's all being concocted to, like it's a tapestry that's been woven by the state in order to make him appear like he is a stalker, like he's a terrible bad man, a villain, and we're going to put together all these incidents that happened over this period of time to then lead up to the unaliving of this man who Zach doesn't even know. He doesn't even know Rociala Gutierrez, right? Doesn't even know him. It's nothing to do with it. All of these incidents, these little incidents, which have to do more with a custody dispute, they're completely unrelated to the disappearance of this man. So let's move on. Now, in the trial, the prosecution was made much fuss about Zach's obsession with Sadie's new boyfriend, Rosalio, right? So they made out that it was obsession. They made out like he was just, oh, all I can think about is this guy, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, it's true that Zach looked for information about Rosalio. He searched up his Facebook and downloaded some photos. He put them on his computer in a folder that was clearly labeled. Guys, if you want to hide something, if you are stalking somebody, do you put them in a folder on your computer that's clearly labeled? Darlie, you stalk people all the time. Do you
I do.
hide? Yeah. Do you hide that information?
Typically, I like to do a little mystique,
Yeah.
a little show.
It's probably best. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I put
use
it in
some
my D small
encryption.
folder. Nobody
Your
will
D-small
look in
folder.
there.
Yeah, they tend to be scared of looking in those folders, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. What else do you use to encrypt them?
Oh,
Or do you want to keep that secret?
I'm not going to say.
It's
I
probably
don't want to
best.
incriminate myself.
No.
No.
Okay. So he had a folder, I think it was just called Rosalia or Rosalia de Gutierrez or something like that, just on his computer. It's just sitting there.
That's
Right?
a D average folder.
It's just a D average folder. Yeah. It was fine.
Not
He wasn't
even
trying to hide it.
favorites.
Yeah, not even favorites. Exactly. Laura, yeah. Any good parent would be asking questions about their ex's new partner when they are going to be around their children. Yeah. So this is what Zach was doing. Zach was a little bit concerned, and rightly so. And look, I'm not going to go into great detail about this, but he had a young daughter and two young sons, and there was a new man in his ex-girlfriend's life who was he was being introduced to the kids. They knew of him, they knew his name, and he had heard of them potentially being like physically introduced to this man. He had, yes, Mara, and yes, he had many reasons to be concerned. Yes. And so what he did was he went and looked up his Facebook. I don't know if he looked at his LinkedIn or anything like that. I'm not sure exactly what else, but he was interested in knowing who he was. I would be too. And so he downloaded some photos and things and he put them on his computer. And he did not hide that at all. He did so much research and stalking that he didn't know Rosalio, Leo, and Junior were all the same man. Yeah, that's actually right. He didn't know that those three names all were the same person. Yeah, then because this guy actually went by those three different names. Interesting. But we all know that. God, we know much more about this person. Now, he never tried to hide his investigation into the new man who was being exposed to his kids. Yeah.
True.
Okay, moving on. Now, something else happened though, and this was more contentious. All right. Okay. So Zach and Sadie.
Fellas in my marriage. Oh.
Yeah, that's really contentious because it's never happening.
No, it's already happened. We're you two married.
We're
We're gonna have the celebration soon. It'll be a dual stream.
I'm gonna have to break something to him, surely.
That's the greatest. Oh my God.
Okay, Zach and Sadie's daughter, just 12 at the time, was struggling with the idea of her mother moving on. And so the next thing that happened was this. Zach did take his daughter to show her that this was real. Right, so he drove her to Sadie's house when Rosalio was there, and they looked through the window.
Bad idea. It looks
Yeah.
bad, but I
It
mean,
wasn't, yeah.
I
Yeah.
can see how he could think that was a way to do it. Wasn't the best way to do it, but I understand what he was trying to accomplish is just like, we're separated, we're moving on. Do you disagree?
I think it was a terrible idea. Um, um, but people make mistakes.
Yeah.
People make mistakes. So, you know, but I mean, okay, I'll move on to the next screen. Look, it probably wasn't the best idea.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't the best idea. But did this make the situation worse? Almost definitely. Almost definitely. But it doesn't make him a murderer.
Yeah. I don't even
No.
know if it did happen. Yeah, as Half Hour says, I don't know. It's a little weird.
What did Alicia say? This is not.
Um,
It's not part of Zach's narrative. It was recanted from our episode 2. What do you mean it wasn't part of Zach's narrative? Please explain, Alicia, because if I'm wrong, then I'd love to know.
yeah.
I'd love to know. And regardless, I mean, Zach didn't say this. It was redacted in episode 2. Zach didn't say what though exactly. That he took her there to show her that she moved on. Is that not what he said? Because if that's the case, then that's completely fine. Regardless, going there with his daughter, not the greatest thing to be part of the story. It didn't work out well for him, but it doesn't make him. Dak didn't take her to show her that. Okay, cool, all right. So that's fair, Ashley. That's fair, Ashley. So if that's not what he intended to be the case, take that back. That's fine. And thank you for being here, Alicia, to correct that. That is what his daughter claimed, not what Zach said. He can't go into details about the why he went there because of the ongoing appeal, but he denies that's what happened. Okay, that's
Okay.
completely fine. That's completely fine. And thank you for
that's
being
fair.
here.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for being here and explaining that. So here's the deal though. Regardless of why he was there with his daughter that night, it didn't make the situation look good. Okay, and I think we can all agree with that.
Well, the
It did,
prosecution was able to twist it and
yeah,
manipulate it.
that's why. That's
in
why.
hopes.
And so,
Yeah.
regardless, that whole situation of him being there with his daughter and at Sadie's house when Rosalia was there, the prosecution was able to use that against him. And yeah, it probably wasn't the best idea, regardless of the reason. And so it didn't make him look good. But does it make Zach a murderer? I'll go back to this part right here. Does it make Zach a murderer? No, it doesn't. And this is the problem. So it takes us to this question here, and why the state will use anything they can to make him look like the villain who went and did the stabby or the blunt force object or whatever it was on Rosario, and then somehow managed to get that giant man out of that house and get rid of that giant person somehow with no DNA evidence, nothing in his van, nothing, get rid of him, and yet somehow Zach is the person responsible for that man's disappearance, right? So all of these things tie together. In the states case, somehow they've managed to pull all those pieces of evidence together, right? So no, it's yeah, that part of the story. Thank you for correcting it, but yeah, it's because he's Houdini, Mara, and yeah, exactly, and half Irish, right? It made a nice juicy story for his daughter. OA, I think OA was the one. Okay, yeah. Regardless, all of these things, they're all in the past, and we can't change
Yeah.
them. He did go there with his daughter that
Yeah.
night, and yeah, it looked bad. It looked bad.
Anyways,
Okay, right. So moving on. That's the end of that. Join us for part 3 next week. Zachariah Anderson, not a murderer, an urgent fight for justice. We'll be doing more of this. Do you like this format? Let me know, right? Tell me, give me feedback. I am open to all comments. I like feedback. And please, guys, this is an ongoing, it's an organism that changes and morphs, right? And please, people from the Zachariah Anderson community, I know that more information comes to light all the time. I appreciate you all being in chat as well, adding to the story. Thank you, Alicia, for that last bit of information. And the more that you guys can be around helping me out, because I work on this throughout the week, I put it all together, and like I put the graphical components all together kind of in the last day or so, but I get all of the content together throughout the week. So if you have anything that you can help me with, anything is appreciated. Thank you, Donna Barkley. I really appreciate that. I want to give some shout outs now. Firstly
thank you.
to Dali.
Thank you.
I was actually going to
I
say
was being.
thank you to Dali. I was
Oh,
going to say
you're
thank
so
you to Dali,
sweet.
and subscribe to Dali if you haven't already.
Aw,
And
you're
I
so
know
sweet.
that, but I say this all the time. The great majority of people who watch this, all of these streams, they watch afterwards, right? So I don't know if you guys notice, but we get a lot of rewatches. Sometimes we get like up to 1,000 or even more rewatches. And so these things get shared out on all platforms. We get a lot of people in the comments and things, and it grows and grows as these series go on. So please, people from the Zachariah Anderson community, it'd be great if you could just watch it out in our comment section and on our other platforms as well, because people come in and ask questions, and it'd be great if you guys could just have a little bit of a look every now and again and see if there's questions there about aspects of the case. So the people, I want to give a huge shout out to Wrongful Podcast. Josie runs Wrongful Podcast. Please, Josie, the people who've helped you out, give me an idea of those
Josie
names.
and Alicia.
Alicia.
Alicia here.
Alicia,
She's
hi,
also
Alicia.
part of it.
Hi.
There's a few.
Yeah, I know there's a few people involved. You guys just done a brilliant job. You guys have done just an amazing job.
And that is like the highest praise you can possibly get from Hella, who is a like workhorse and only praises the highest quality of content and holds herself to it.
Thank you.
So you guys have done an amazing job.
You guys are like, I just can't get over what the quality of the content you guys have made. And I can't get enough of it. Like, it's really hard to take something like a trial of this this length, the amount of content that's there, the depth of and the complexity of this story, and push it down into something so digestible as like 45-minute stories like you guys have. Well done. It's so listenable. Guys, go and listen to the Wrongful Podcast. It's really great. And yeah, it's really helped me to create this this stream. What I'm doing this because some people like to watch something that's graphical, and any different way you can absorb this, whatever we can do to get this story out, let's do it. I reckon let's just find just different ways, any way we can to get it out. So if you want to listen to it, listen to the Wrongful Podcast. If you want to watch it, you can watch it here. If you want to watch the whole trial, tell you what, you can do this. Go to our friend Beetlehammer, because you can watch the whole trial and the interrogations with no breaks. You can watch everything, clean audio, beautiful. There is a link. Hang on, where is it? Just popped it in chat there. Nobody murder trial, Wisconsin versus Zachariah Anderson on Gilhammer Media. Go and grab that playlist link and you can subscribe to that playlist, play it the whole way through, pop it in your earbuds. If you're a trial watcher, you can't get better than just having that play continuously, and you won't have, like, if you like to just listen to a trial the whole way through and like put it in your earbuds and just have it come through and not have any influence whatsoever. Like Andrew Brunkel was saying, he wants to watch the whole trial with no commentary. This is the way to watch it. Don't do it through Law and Crime. Go and support our friend Bill Hammer. Thank you, Bill Hammer. You're wonderful. Excellent. All right, that's about all. I won't keep you for any longer. Please come back next week for part 3. I'm also on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook now, Twitter, all those places. If you could support my new platforms, that'd be fantastic. I'm trying to get this out on other platforms. That's about it. And I think I'll let you guys go. I think that's about it, everyone. Unless anyone else got something to say? No? Otherwise, I'm going to give you my free Zachariah Anderson wavy goodbye with the hand. Free Zach. Bye, everyone.